Alright, let's see that warm welcome Eggman has prepared, because yes, if you like your classic Sonic, it's time for us to do a raid of Eggman's base.
I saw Eggman go inside the pyramid, and more importantly, I saw that Batgirl go inside with him as well. Well, you saw them too, right?
Well, yeah.
We should be
It
able to get
happened off
into outer
screen.
space from there. I don't know what this space colony is
Technically,
all about, but I'll find and destroy
both
that
he and
cannon,
Rouge
and
did
then
see
get their
Eggman go
Imperial
towards the
ball
pyramid,
ride.
so I guess we're gonna
I'll
assume
go and
Rouge
find
went
the
after
entrance.
Eggman for that.
I want to comment on that line Sonic just had. Like, and then I'm gonna kick their Imperial Imperial?
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
Imperial.
Like Sonic, you realize you're not fighting the Empire.
I think.
Well,
to be fair,
Eggman
The
Empire.
Empire.
Yeah, it kind of is a continuation of what Sonic was mentioning in the limousine. I
Son-
guess.
Sonic's always been one to go against the establishment anyway, so if Eggman be the establishment, down with said establishment.
Also, yes, literally everything in these ancient stone tablets has Eggman's face on it.
Well, this is something that the classic games did as well. This is
Yeah, I mean, in the bad future of Tidal Tempest in Sonic CD, Eggman's face is all over the place.
Yeah. This is just Eggman.
Well, I get that. For this case, since it's a bad future, it makes sense because it's a case where Eggman altered history. This is supposed to be in a real-world location.
Not this one in particular, no.
I mean, it's the pyramids. I guess it's supposed to be Egypt.
How
You know,
about this,
some-
Teo? It's a. How about this, Teo? I'll tell you in Final Fantasy terms. It's a fantasy based on reality.
There's
Some-
nothing based on that statement.
Some people like to theorize that this place could potentially be Sandopolis again, essentially, given how we deal with ghosts, and something that is clearly meant to be a throwback to Sonic 3 and Knuckles, but we'll see
Again,
about
it's the
that
weird,
later.
it's the weird thing where the classic games have, had the level of extravaganza because they were set in a small, set of islands, far from civilization. But since now we're going for a cross-country, world tour of something, some things just become weird when you apply the staples of the classic games.
I feel the
It's actually
adventure
interesting you
games
say that,
actually did
because-
mix them well, because to be fair, we did have cities as early as the classic Sonic stages with stuff like Starlight Zone.
I always
It's
got the
interesting-
Hexagon.
It's interesting you say that, Teo, because reportedly, and yes, I know I'm not going to surprise
Oh,
anybody
hey,
by saying
coconuts.
this, but
Although they remind me more of Amigo.
I guess.
But yeah, no, that
the thing-
that's
Holy
legit the
shit, that's some terrifying imagery.
Yeah.
Staring
Yes,
into my
Tails, you
soul.
can break that.
God.
It's interesting you say that, Teo, because you know how the NPCs in Adventure 1 resemble a 90s anime, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was the direction Oshima at the time preferred. Again, as you can see in the Sonic OVA, for which Oshima
Yeah, I
was
think
also
you did.
involved.
I think you did told me when we commented on it the other year.
Regardless, the point is, one of the reasons Oshima left Sonic Team after Adventure 1 is that, get this, apparently, both him and Naka have
Creative
disagreements.
differences.
Yeah, and that's not surprising considering this is Naka we're talking about. So
Also, I see the ancient Egyptians warp ship to some of the echidnas going off of those mosaics. Sorry.
Jova, I keep thinking of an alternate timeline where Oshima became the producer of Sonic Team instead of Naka back in the 90s. Wouldn't have been. We probably would have been better off.
Oshima's track record since leaving Sonic Team hasn't exactly been stellar either.
That is true to this, but at the same time, he's at the very least a better person than Naka.
And I will say
I don't
this:
know much. Like, what has he done?
Bow and Wonder World.
Time Sweep.
Like the Time Sweeper.
Well, okay, to be fair, Balan Wonder, while it is true that Oshima wasn't there were a lot of horrible behind-the-scenes circumstances that were beyond Oshima's control of why that game turned out the way it did. To be fair,
That said, I think we can agree his best game post Sonic has been Sonic Superstars.
Yeah, I didn't even
I'm
read
gonna-
that
I'm
game's
gonna
pretty
have to say Nights
divisive.
into Sorry, Joe, I'm gonna have to say Nights into Dreams.
I honestly forgot Oshima did that one, but okay. To be fair, I should have been more specific and say post-Sonic Team, since, Oshima was still,
I prefer Triple Link's time, the Time Sweeper.
I like Sonic. Okay. I will say this. It's definitely the best game that his dev company has made.
Yeah,
I mean,
understand.
considering
You have to understand, Jova. The final Fang boss battle and the Black Dragon boss battle left such a horrible taste in my mouth.
I like the game in spite of those, and also, more classic badniks we were dealing with there, like the spike holders.
Wow, two boss battles you didn't like soured your opinion on the whole game.
Joe, the reason you say that is because you have to understand it. There's a very specific reason for that.
Let me put it
So
this.
I'm pretty sure those are, climax type of bosses that do towards the very end of the game. So I'm pretty sure they're relatively important.
Climax
thing
boxes, climax boxes in Sonic have, yes, kind of always been a bit finicky, but they are meant to be the last impression. Without spoiling, the climax boss of this game in particular is quite beloved, even if it takes a bit of getting used to doing Sonic at the last minute. And, well, part of that has to do with the music, but also the fact that it controls relatively well enough. I like Sonic Superstars. I ain't gonna deny that that game still does have its issues. I do feel like Sonic Superstars was at least showing that, yeah, hey, Oshima can still do it. Especially when he doesn't have Naka holding him back. But I digress.
Yeah, for the most part, Superstars is a delight. Mm-hmm. For the most part.
I did it, Sonic!
Whoa, look at him go. Sorry.
Yep. Tails can fly when he's outside the mech, but yeah, no, I mean...
Also, the weird physical in Tails. Go on, Joe, sorry.
The thing with Sonic Superstars is, I'd say that game is definitely more liked than it is loathed. It's just, here's the thing. For the most part, people are in agreement that, for the most part, it's a delight to play. It's that getting those bosses, and yeah, the methodology to unlocking the final boss can be a bit of a chore. Alright.
Me and Shiro actually watched Deji attempt to defeat the final boss of
It was
Sonic.
broken.
The game literally glitched and Deji couldn't beat it. But it's not even just because of that. It's also because it took Deji 3 hours to be able to beat the final Fang boss battle at the end of Trip's story. Because of how fucking... here's the thing, if they had at least had checkpoints in the fucking bosses, for example, they would have made things so much easier.
Alright, children.
Give us rings.
Oh my god, all your chows are becoming furries.
Alright, children, it's time to interact with the animals and, well, I guess take their best properties.
Devour their souls.
Yeah. Eat the animals.
Remind me
This
why we
place
didn't
is
care
free
about the
serotonin.
chows,
Everything will be okay.
No, mostly just joking. Remind me why we didn't care about the chows.
Well, because, Tio, the Chows help you get some of the emblems needed to unlock the ultimate reward in this game.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, no, I'm not kidding. I forget if I go via stage select, but if you go via stage select, you'll notice that, yes, there are emblems involved in getting the Chow, and also doing certain Chow missions as well.
Which animal gave the orange one angry eyebrows?
Penguin.
Emperor Penguin.
Oh,
Emperor
right.
Penguin tends to have those.
Well, better get going. So this is what the inside of a pyramid looks like.
It's only the second time I've been in one. I'm kind of an
Yeah,
explorer,
seriously, this stage looks very similar to the equivalent one that was in Adventure 1.
Yeah, this is
where-
actually
Vertical wanted to show something to Sonic.
I like how Eggman decided, you know, if I have somebody infiltrate my lair, I at least want them to look cool doing it. So here are these hoops that will give you extra points if you make them through.
Honestly, it makes it more look like it was supposed to be a boulder trap, but for some reason it didn't go on.
Okay! Pyramid Cave. If I were to describe getting the A rank on this, I'd say, don't play like Sonic, play like Wario. As in, yes, I intentionally failed that so I could get more rings. Trust me, you'll have an easier time getting the A rank if you focus foremost on getting all the rings and all the enemies you can in this level. Not to say that time bonus is not worth anything, but the game does give you a bit of a wide berth for this level because, yeah, whenever you try and rush through, you'll more likely find yourself getting C rings. This is also the level where you get the bounce bracer, which is amazing to use.
Yes, Pedro?
This is actually one of the levels that what happened in between both adventure games. The speed stages in Adventure 2 are quite more linear in terms of their design, and definitely more set-piece driven. As a result, there's some of the exploration from Adventure 1 is lost. And one thing that I also miss is the spin dash on Adventure 1 in particular. Because I really like you because one of the cool things in Adventure 1 was to use the spin dash to come up with really awesome speedrunning routes and really powerful routes. And then the spin dash in this game is still good. The spin dash is still good in this game, but it's, in my opinion, nowhere near as fun to use it as in Adventure 1.
Yeah.
Adventure 1 is so overpowered that it makes it, you can constantly pull shortcuts if you know what you're doing.
You see what I mean? That shit happened to me all the goddamn time.
What? Oh, well, okay. Actually, I kind of
the detection on the bars.
Okay, the thing is, I actually intentionally went off the rail there because, again, going down that way gets me more rings and more enemies to bop, essentially. Normally, I'm fine with that grind rail. No, the grind rail I have the most issue with is on Final Rush, but we'll get to that sooner or later. That said, watch out for ghosts because they will waste your time here. And especially when you're trying to get A ranks, that can be a pain.
Yeah, this particular, like, the two things that annoy me the most about Pyramid Cave, the ghosts and the fact that you have to go out of your way to pick up that thing so you can put it on the thing, and it's such a pace breaker.
Yeah.
Ghosts in a Sonic game just kind of suck, huh?
What about that ghost level in Heroes?
See, here's the thing. At least in Sandopolis, all you have to do was jump and the ghosts will not be able to hurt you, and that's it. Like, I can handle the ghosts in Sandopolis just fine. In here, it's harder because you have to carry the goddamn thing, and if the ghosts, and because you're carrying the thing, it's easy for the ghosts to grab you, you know, because you have to go slower because you're carrying the thing, right?
At the very least, you can kill enemies by tossing the switch.
That is neat.
This gimmick of putting the thing on the thing is just a pace breaker.
This seems something more like a Kid for Knuckles gameplay.
Okay. Do you like
Why wasn't this in the Knuckles stages?
Okay, hope you like Indiana Jones because you pretty much have to pull an Indiana Jones with this sequence.
What's with the hoops?
You get more points if you go through those artfully, like I said. Eggman wants you to infiltrate his base with grace. Oh, barely made it.
Literally.
All that's missing is a hat.
Also, to answer Dwibs.
Yes, you're right.
To answer Dwibs, in terms of Sonic Heroes, like outside of a couple of instances, the ghosts barely interact with you, so
ghosts are
they're not really too much of a problem.
Ghosts are noticeably integral to more so the hero states than the dark states. They only really show up for Rouge in that one level, which is a good point for me to actually point something out here. A bit of a difference in how the pacing of the dark and the hero stories go. The hero story is a classic epic world globe-trotting adventure that starts relatively fine, you know, on the Earth in San Francisco, but slowly builds up in pace as you eventually make your way to flipping space. One thing that is consistent with every level, though, is that the heroes have a much more frantic tone, like either needing to get Sonic out, escaping the military, or needing to reach the Eclipse Cannon before it can fire again in time because, holy crap, that stuff is dangerous. Conversely, the dark story feels a lot more chill, like half the levels are them going to work. Partly this is due to the fact that Team Dark are holding the cards in their hands.
Looks like we're heading toward the center of the base.
Tails, where did your mech go?
Things, doesn't he? I'll bet he has
In
one
my
or two
pocket
spaceships
space.
flying around here
I never
somewhere.
had one.
The
Oh,
door's locked.
I just saw you
We
out
need a key
earlier.
to get in there.
No problem.
You saw nothing.
Right, Knuckles?
What? Why do I have to find the key?
Tails, you're not a
We're counting on
hypnotist.
you.
Because you're better at
World's
these.
greatest treasure hunter.
Yep, pretty
I
much.
mean, again, Sonic is a bit manipulative, but he has a point.
Oh god, could you imagine Tails all of a sudden being a hypnotist? It's like it's as random as Amy not being a tarot card reader.
Okay,
I can imagine it now. Sonic, you did not see my neck.
Okay, this is one of the few times where Knuckles actually gets the tougher counterpart of a level. Since Rouge had Egg Quarters as one of her earlier levels, Knuckles gets Death Chamber. It's a bit similar to Egg Chambers, but it does have a noticeable difference. Oh, by the way, for those who thought that the first time we ever heard the word damn in a Sonic game was Shadow the Hedgehog, no, have a listen to the lyrics of Death Chamber. Unit P does in fact say the word damn in it. So technically, we first got the word damn in Sonic Adventure 2. And I'm getting a bit ahead of myself, the first time we also got a realistic gun was in Sonic Adventure 2 as well, not Shadow the Hedgehog.
Fun fact, the music in Knuckles stages, while the lyrics were written by 100p, they were composed by Tomoyo Otani. Yes, Tomoyo Otani.
Also, when it comes to Rouge's stages, the vocals are done by Tabitha Fair, the same woman who sings her theme song, but the melodies are done by Kenichi Tokoi. Oh, hey, Big.
Bye, Meg.
Who's known as the sound director for Sonic Colors.
Yeah, again, Sonic Adventure 2 was quite possibly their most
Thanks
ambitious
so much, Al.
endeavor.
That was very helpful.
So yeah, here's the main difference. You will have to dig to get to certain areas here. Yes, your radar can thankfully sense through the walls though, but be forewarned, it can be tricky. And God help you if you get one of the occurrences where that key is buried underneath one of those falling traps. That said, once again, the lyric is a bop here.
This stage is one of the most
the
annoying
ladders-
ones to do if you don't have the better radar mod. Because the level is quite big. It's not it's not mad space or meteor herd big.
Good
But
there.
But navigating through the corridors in this thing with the GIMP radar is not fun.
I will say, I ironically have a better time with Meteor Herd these days. In fact, Meteor Herd is kind of like the breather level between Sonic and Tails' space levels, ironically. I will say, if you know Meteor Herd's layout well enough, you can still have fun with that level. Death Chamber is definitely one of the tougher ones, though. It's not the worst. No, that honor still goes to Mad Space, but... yeah, sometimes you can get pretty unlucky, and yeah, if you're doing this with the original gimped radar, oh boy, that's,
Which is how I played it, yes.
well, okay, that's how I played it originally, too, like,
Really,
we all did.
most of us went through these.
I like the better radar, but I found that most of these levels I can have fun even without the better radar. With the sole exception probably being Mad Space, like...
Look at there.
Yeah, we'll get there.
I will say, I did remember what I wanted to say. Like, the more these treasure hunter stages go on, the more, like, you get some of the chillest tracks in the game for the later treasure hunting stages. It's like they knew.
Sure. You gotta love the fact that I'm
Listen to something relaxing while you traverse through hell. Yeah, sure.
You gotta love how Rouge's song I'm a Spy, you know, for Security Hall, was the theme that actually came back for her in Team Sonic Racing. Probably because
I didn't play that.
it's actually a good game.
Yeah, looking at Takashi Iizuka's Wikipedia page, it's interesting how he hasn't actually directed a Sonic game since Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Winter Games.
That's because
in 2009.
That's because he got booted upstairs, essentially, where he got promoted to a point where it's not as prudent for him to do direct
still
direction.
got an A rank.
Yep.
Huh?
Oh boy,
Who's
this.
there?
This is the game's big lip alligator
Ghost.
moment.
Yeah, because it really doesn't have. Again, Ghost did show up, but you're telling me that Eggman has a ghost in space like this?
Okay.
Sure, why not?
It's a security system.
To be fair, we saw this happen in Sandopolis Zone 2. My take is, this, essentially. Look.
Is that the Bristow voicing the ghost?
I don't know. That'd be funny, though,
Yes,
since he
Jova,
also
go
voices Eggman. Here's my take on Eggman's take of the ghost in his face. Look. You don't like me, I don't like you, take care of Sonic, and we can get along just fine.
Honestly, it would have made more sense to be, attached to Pumpkin Hill, as opposed to of that. But
Well,
again, also we need the gimmick of, light and darkness switch puzzle.
Admittedly, the ghosts do start showing up as early as Pumpkin Hill. They also show up in the Aquatic Mine and finally Death Chamber, so it's not like King Boom Boo, yes, that's his name, King Boom Boo, came out of absolute nowhere. That said,
Except
I
that
know...
It feels something that you think Eggman will try to have a containment for, like, I don't know.
Well, to be fair, he
Don't
did have a containment for them in Sonic 3 and Knuckles before Sonic blew that apart.
Also, that classic design of the shadow reminds me of some of the other games that Sonic Team did around this time, like Billy Hatcher.
So yeah, I know for a fact this boss gave a lot of kids nightmares back in the day. Especially since if you go too fast, he will jump scare you on the other side of that pillar.
I can't really tell that the voice actor probably had a lot of fun using this thing.
Oh yeah, definitely. He literally says brah, but in a haunting way. Look, he said brah before it was popular. Boop, got your ghost. Now, believe it or not, there is actually a technique to be able to hit him 4 times in one cycle. The problem is he likes to move around before you can dig him up, which means you'll have less time to get him 4 times.
It's a good thing this was before the 4Kids cast, otherwise we probably could have had the Knuckles say, "You don't have the ghost of a chance."
It's funny you mention that because King Boom Boo actually did show up in Sonic X.
Well, to be fair, that series adapted eventually the approach of Adventure 1 and 2, so...
I do like this marrying of the mystical and the modern. Like, sure, we have modern stuff like Gun, but let's not forget, we live in the Sonic world. Mystical stuff is a thing. The dead are alive and angry as hell.
I mean, to be fair, as we mentioned, it's not the Chaos Emeralds are used primarily as a source of power when it comes to mechanical stuff, but they do influence nature in some capacity.
And even the government, since keep in mind, the government have gotten wind of the Chaos Emeralds, and
it's really the equivalent of an RPG saying, "I heard a rumor that monsters are coming back."
Mind your manners when you belch your flames. That's it.
I would say, however, but this boss track is really forgettable compared to the rest of the game soundtrack.
Really? I actually really like this one. Granted, I prefer the other version of it.
It's serviceable, but not very memorable, at least to me.
That might be because it's the one without the awesome guitar riff.
Knuckles, they'll never talk about
Considering
this
it's
to
titled
anybody.
Knuckles, I think lyrics would have been fitting better, attached to it.
That was pretty rough.
This scene. Listen
We
to this
did
guy.
it!
What?
Let's go, Amy! Yeah!
No, you didn't, Tails. Shut the fuck up.
Now here's an awesome theme for sure. Eggman theme.
Sonic!
Yeah, played by Paul Shortino.
I love how even Sonic Team have realized this is Eggman's best team since they brought it back ever since Generations.
Too bad, Eggman. I've got 99 lives.
Oh my god, I can actually hear Eggman in this.
And yes, here it
Now he
is.
has a stone golem.
Which, to be fair, he kind of did have in Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Speaking of which, let's fight it.
Egg
It's a good thing that Eggman was nice enough to create proper platforms on the back of his golem so that Sonic can conveniently jump up the mechanism.
I love being able to use the idle prompt since that allows Sonic to essentially taunt the boss.
And again, how nice of Eggman to give Sonic some rope to climb up.
Admittedly, those are arguably meant to be like power cells that slot in and out of the boss essentially for energy. Since apparently Eggman did just take and mechanize an entire statue. Which, I'm sure the ancient Egyptians would be so proud to see him using their architecture and statues for such a purpose.
I'm sure these times will start
So how do you explain the rope?
Any particular reason, Jova, why you're not only attacking the final three platforms on the thing?
Because I want to do it in style each time. And I accidentally...
I can see that happening.
Great style.
Thanks for the timing, Jova.
Yes, Okay, let's try that again.
Don't you see, guys? Jova has a very specific vision for this one.
See, Virgo, for the first time NDC did it, so at the very least, Oh, Jesus.
Yes, that's right.
Anyway, like I said,
he gets more erratic the more. Now let's try it
like I said
this
earlier,
way.
Jova, you can explain the steps on his back, but what about the rope that you can climb out of from this quicksand?
Correctly,
that's
the ropes
just
are...
Well, that's obviously in case Eggman himself gets stuck down there.
Yeah, you remember correctly, the ropes are compatible with all the characters, so even the ones on the mech, although he creates the hilarious effect of Tails having to hang with the entire mech under his feet,
I don't see Stallone anywhere.
That's just Sonic being cheeky.
Oh yeah, in this, for whatever reason, Eggman has a fucking realistic.
Yeah, it doesn't even. If I recall correctly, it doesn't even have its logos on it.
I'm
No,
not.
It's not so much that too. It's more so the fact that he already has a teleport that teleports him back into the Ark, which means he has no need for this rock.
To be fair,
like he said, it's not even branded for like Eggman. It makes no sense. It would have been more sense if it was like a gun being that he took possession of or something.
Okay, to be fair, one, like Sonic mentioned, Eggman just loves to work with mechanical stuff. He probably had this airship on track just in case. Two, also, in case the teleporter doesn't work, a ship would come in handy. And three,
also, this infamous cutscene, because now the voice actors have a bunch of well, I guess because, Yuji Naka told them how to do, but a bit improvisation, we don't see that happening on screen. But, oh, Jesus.
What do you mean, don't sweat it?
Right?
Land the shuttle and let me out.
We're gonna crash this thing if you keep that up. Oh no!
Yeah, watch out, you're gonna crash.
They died.
happy landings.
What a tragic
What's
tale.
up with that knucklehead anyway?
Anyway, we got a little over 2 hours left before the cannon fires again.
Huh? Where did he go now?
Looks like he bailed. This place looks deserted, dusty too. This place was shut down about 50 years ago because of a terrible accident. The first Bernoulli spherical space colony, called ARC.
Oh yeah. Give the child the
When it
hard
was
to pronounce
operational,
lines.
It was the most advanced research.
It's like the
center
extra
of the
challenge lives.
But look
Yes, I'll
at
give him
that.
credit. He did manage to pronounce them fine.
If I recall correctly, these voice actor for Tails also voiced the character in that awful PS2 Frogger game.
I wouldn't know.
I know, like, he's an actual child and he's doing a really good job at this, considering all the big words, but the delivery,
Circumstances,
the delivery sounds like he's giving a school presentation.
are super strong.
I guess he kind of
Way
is.
to destroy it from
I
inside.
get it. It's better than the Heroes one.
It looks
And
like
yeah, in the meantime, Tails, because he's just that awesome, managed to fabricate a fake Chaos
it has
Emerald.
the same wavelength and properties.
Like,
but
do you
it's
have like a
less powerful than the
Yeah,
real
as
pressurized
long as you don't-
compartment? Like,
as long as-
gemstones are created
Inside
with
the
that.
Chaos Emerald
As long
can
as you
blow
don't
up.
blab about the secret,
It
Tails, I'm
looks
sure
so
you'll be
big, even
fine.
a machine can't
Why
touch
would
it.
he ever need to do that
And
with?
destroy it.
Yeah, just take the fake emerald to the power supply and we're all good to go.
We'll switch the Chaos Emeralds
Yeah.
when the machine is stopped.
Also, hilariously, this section of the arc doesn't have the cameras, thus meaning that Eggman doesn't actually see this happening. You'd think that
Admittedly,
would be a more appropriate plot point.
it's a space station made from 50 years ago when they weren't as paranoid.
Okay, Amy should sound more pissed there.
Alright, well, it's more like she's whining more so. Don't worry, she gets her moment later.
Okay, if I recall correctly, this is the level where you can accidentally shoot yourself out of the airlock, so...
Yep, welcome to Eternal Engine. This is actually my favorite Tails level, mainly, well, partly due to the music, but yes, there's a risk and reward mechanic to this one, where, yes, if you shoot the locks, you'll get more points. That helps you get an A rank. However, that also means you will have to move your ass and make sure you don't get sucked in out to space.
So this game had 4 composers. Jun Sonoe, Fumi Kumatani, Tomi Otani, and Kenichi Tokoi.
Not counting all the vocal artists too as well.
Obviously.
Yeah,
Well,
musical
look at he said-
composers.
Well, he said composers. Last I checked, Johnny doesn't compose music.
He just sings it.
That's what singers usually do.
Don't say Omocho.
Well, Pedro, there are singers who can't sing it. They try anyway.
A zing.
It's yeah,
Watch
do
this.
that. Do that.
Bye, Omocho!
Bye, Omocho.
I know a chow. Okay, well that Oma Chow died. That's like millions of them.
Like, we just got the number 1 here.
Well, Tails, it's getting hard.
Wait, I got getting hard to breathe. Oma Chow, you're a robot.
No.
Are you literally just leading him over here?
Well, you have to hit the switch there anyway. But yes, Omocho will repeatedly get sucked out to space. Also, that was Tails that said it's hard to breathe here. That's one of his idle lines, which again can activate.
Okay, so that's the thing. The tail sounded a lot like Oma Chow there.
You know,
Yeah.
the interesting thing is that this actually works as a neat counterpart to Eggman's final stage, since Tails' final stage does stress the importance of pacifism, since blasting everything can make stuff tougher. Eggman's final stage is just about blasting everything in sight.
Okay, I can't remember if you mentioned this in the previous part, but in this game, is Tails voiced by a young boy in Japanese?
I don't know. What I do know is that it was apparently Naka's insistence to get a child despite Lanny Manella's
Also,
objections.
Chaos clones, I think this is
Yep.
very introduction.
Oh
I
yes,
mean,
the
I
artificial
can only
chaos. Don't worry. Don't worry. You'll learn to hate them as much as they hate you.
I can only assume so, Dwebs, because why would Naka insisted so much for the English voices but not the Japanese ones?
Well, that's the thing, Pedro. Sometimes people that have a hand in both versions of something are very picky and choosy, depending on very picky and choosy to have some things in English but not Japanese,
Or
and vice versa.
yeah.
And God forbid this was part of that stupid feud going on between Sega of America and Sega of Japan, where Sega of Japan was kind of trying to sabotage Sega of America every step of the way because they didn't like that Sega of America were doing a better job selling Sonic in America than them. What a surprise. And look, that's just not to dunk on Sega
Meanwhile,
of Japan.
Sega in Europe are just kind of there.
Yeah. I mean, we got the deep fear on the Saturn that has to count for something.
Like, okay, and look, I'll say this.
And hell, we got a better soundtrack for that one Shinobi game on the Saturn.
Look, I'll say this. No dunking on Sega of Japan. I get it. They were doing the heavy lifting and actually making the games, but I don't think that gave them the right to scuff at Sega of America's efforts, because if it weren't for Sega of America, Sonic might legit just not be as big as he is now.
Sonic probably would have actually died as a franchise if it wasn't for that, because remember, Sonic didn't take off in Japan, not particularly. The first Sonic game was successful in Japan, but Sonic 2, in comparison, was a significantly drop in sales. Don't get me wrong, it sold 10 million units, but most of those units were from Europe and America, right?
Okay.
Hey,
Big! Wait, Big! What are you doing out in space and living?
Okay, that was cheap.
Yes, okay, that is the... Artificial chaos are the worst. Like, I will say this...
Artificial chaos are the worst, and not just in this game. I can tell you that much.
I will say this, they're easier
Screw that stage.
They're basically the new slicers when you really get down to it.
The deal with artificial chaos is they're hard to hit, they can take punishment, and if you don't time things right, they will mop the floor with you.
They have long range and even very high speed attacks. So yeah.
Well, Tail, to give some credit to the artificial chaos, we have yet to have a Sonic game that starts literally surrounded by artificial chaos. So there is that.
Okay, and I will say this though: if you like beating up artificial chaos, then Eggman's final stage is great for you.
Mm-hmm.
Like they literally place them behind the door.
I'm actually with Johnny. I actually think the next stage would have been a lot more fun if they all played like Eggman's last stage with the gravity thing.
Oh right? Yeah, no, like Cosmic Mall is easily the best stage. Well, I mean, sorry, the best mech stage in the game.
Yeah, like if they all played like that, like the gravity gimmick, like that would have made things a lot more fun in my opinion.
All in due time.
Yeah, if you know what you're doing, you can get quite a lot of great points from the changes this shit.
Part of why I actually do still like Eternal Engine, I'm still able to have fun with it. It helps that I mastered this stage enough to the point where I don't have to worry about the airlocks too much.
There we are.
That's a nice high score. Yes, let's see how the children
that's the sound
are.
effect that plays in the old games when you get the special stages.
Yeah.
Which, you know, I might as well say this. As somebody who played Sonic Heroes and Shadow the Hedgehog first, I was pleasantly surprised to see just how many sound effects in Heroes actually originated in the adventure games, especially Adventure 2.
Hell, it seems to me that there's somebody at Sega who really loves the sound effects and music of Sonic Heroes, because remember, Sonic Lost World 3DS, for whatever reason, instead of having its own invincibility theme, has the Sonic Heroes invincibility theme.
How random.
A slightly remixed version.
The 3DS version of Sonic Generations has menu sound effects from Heroes of all.
And
games,
the
like
boss of the modern era is the Egg Emperor, if I recall correctly.
in that game, yes.
It
Specifically
was...
the Dreamcast era, I mean.
Which...
Well, technically no. Like, like in the Dreamcast era, they also have the
He's
Biolizard.
The Biolizard. It's the equivalent of the Egg Dragoon, that's what I meant.
Okay,
Alright, all's well and good.
Tell Sonic to meet you back at the research facility.
Man, Tails, did your balls just drop right just now?
What happened to Amy?
Well, Sonic, the situation is kind of that dire. And it is
Alright,
indeed
so,
dire, because we have less than an hour and a half before the cannon can fire again.
Alright, see ya.
Can we adjust the beam?
No.
If only it were that easy, Dwibs. But it's
We
not
can't add cooling fans to it? I don't know.
Yeah, we could just lower the beam so it only blows up things people don't like.
interesting mindset. We'll see you for the next part, where we once again flip back over to Team Dark's story.
See ya.
See ya.
Finally,